When I started on this road, I didn't want to create a driver app and wanted to focus only on the client app. Unfortunately, a driver app is unavoidable as the main app is useless without it. Unlike the main Uber app, I don't want to clone the driver app as this would throw the whole course out of focus. I decided to hack the existing app to implement driver-specific features there, and as a result, reuse a whole lot of code. This means the driver app can reuse sign-up, map, networking code, etc. This is important as code reuse breeds stability and maturity. Unfortunately, it also means the app isn't as well made as the main app, since it was designed for end users with driver mode tacked on top. We often build one app and sell it to multiple customers. After all, most customers ask for similar things with minor changes. For example, if I build a restaurant app and then sell it to one establishment, I can then resell it to another one with almost no change at all. Another common use case is the demo or free version of a paid app. You want to reuse as much of the work as possible without maintaining two code bases. Another case, which is relevant to what I'm building today, is two target audiences of roughly the same functionality. For instance, in this case, the driver app has many common elements with the passenger app. So why not build the same app with minor modifications? The first thing we need to understand is how the App Store identifies your application. Pretty much all apps use a unique identifier string that is similar to package names, to which we map the main application package name. So the trick is to add a new package for the new app. The basic hello driver would be something like this. Notice I chose to override the methods, but I didn't have to. I could have just derived the main class and that would have been enough. But I prefer overriding the lifecycle methods for clarity in this case. This isn't enough though. The codename1 settings properties file contains all of the internal configuration details about the project. I copied it aside and renamed it to codename1 settings user properties. I then edited the file to use the driver details and copied that into codename1 settings driver properties. Notice I snipped most of the text here, and there are several other locations where the values are mentioned. It's important to update the app ID to use your Apple developer account prefix and package name. This is automatically generated when you run the signing wizard to create iOS developer certificates. The certificates should be the same between the driver and the user app. However, provisioning profiles should be generated for both when you build an iOS version of your app. Update codename1.mainName to match the class name. Update codename1 package name to match the package name. Other than certificates, there are many nuances you would probably want to customize in this file, such as the app name and the icon. Once this is all done, you would have a separate app that does the exact same thing. It's really easy for us to detect the driver app and write custom code for it. First, let's change the UberClone class to add driver detection. This introduces a public isDriverMode method into the UberClone class. It would always return false unless we made one tiny change to driver app. This is a block within driver app class, we can now invoke isDriver on the Uber clone class and get the right result. I've discussed push notification before in the beginner course. Please make sure to follow the registration instructions there and update the values in the globals class. Once those are in place, we can integrate push into the driver app. We need to register for push every time the app loads. The logic is that the push key might change, so we need to keep it up to date. We send a type 3 push, which will invoke this code twice. The first time around, we'll receive a hash symbol followed by a numeric ID. The second time, we'll receive the display value. When we receive the display value, we can show a notification to the driver, and if he clicks this notification, we can show him the details of the ride. Ideally, we would also have a rides menu item in the side menu, but for now I'm compromising on the driver app to move forward. When register succeeds, this method is invoked. The main use case is sending the push key to the server so it can trigger push messages. Notice that the device ID is not equal to the push.getKey value. Device ID is the historic native device key and shouldn't be used. Also notice I send this every time even if the value didn't change. It's not a big deal in terms of overhead, so I ignored that small bit of overhead.